Yes, sir. We are live on YouTube tonight. We are talking about underrated and overrated teams going into the 23-24 season. Who do I think is going to underperform? Or who do I think is going to overperform? Those are the questions that I have that I feel like are going to get answered today. Those are the questions that I feel like are going to get answered today, more than anything. Those questions right there. Who do I think is going to underperform and overperform to this upcoming season? So I think that the Western Conference has gotten much better. Irv is now over in the Western Conference. KD is back over in the Western Conference. The West has gotten better. I still think that when you look at the standings in the West, when you look at the standings in the West, just from before the season even starts, right? Just before the season even starts, right? The teams that everybody thinks are going to make the playoffs, right? The teams that everybody thinks are going to make the playoffs, just off the strength of looking at rosters. When I think about the Western Conference, right? When I think about the Western Conference, teams like, let's see, if I look at the Western Conference, just the Western Conference alone, so the Golden State Warriors, the Nuggets, Lakers, the Clippers, Phoenix. I think Oklahoma City is going to be better. Minnesota, Memphis, Dallas, New Orleans. I didn't mention Sacramento, but I have to mention Sacramento. So who is going to of those teams, who do I think is going to underperform this upcoming season? I think Memphis takes a step back. And I feel like Memphis takes a step back because missing Ja for the 25 games that they're going to miss him, that's going to be a problem. And then the biggest problem that they have is that at small forward spot, they don't have anybody to shore up what Dillon Brooks gave them. Now, everybody looks at Dillon Brooks like Dillon Brooks is a bad player. I don't think Dillon Brooks is a bad player. I think he's a starter. I think Dillon Brooks is a starter on a playoff team. I'm not on the fence about that. I'm not thinking maybe. I'm not thinking possibly. I think Dillon Brooks is a starter on a playoff team. So with that being said, right? With that being said, I think Memphis could be a play-in team. With Memphis being a play-in team, that means that there's going to be a team that's going to go above them. So who takes that step up this season? I think Oklahoma City could be a bona fide playoff team. I don't think they're a play-in team. I think they're a playoff team. Straight up and straight down. I think Oklahoma City, because now with the emergence of Shea, not just with the emergence of Shea, I think Josh Giddey comes back better. I'm banking on Lou Dort being a respectable jump shooter. I already know who he is as a defender. I think he's already an all-league. He's already a borderline all-league defender. So I think he's at that point. I think that him being a respectable jump shooter, and what I mean when I say respectable, he'll have to be a knockdown jump shooter. Just respectable enough where, all right, this dude can knock down open shots. Right? This dude can knock down an open shot and keep defenses honest. So with that being said, I think Oklahoma City, with now having Chet, the rim protector that they didn't have, and the extra rebounder that they didn't have, because both Jalen Williams, both of those guys, I think that they take a step up. I think both of those guys take a step up, and I think that they crack the top 6. I think Oklahoma City could be a bona fide playoff team. I think the Golden State Warriors are still going to be in the middle of it. I think that they're going to be anywhere between 3 and 6. I think the Golden State Warriors are going to be anywhere between 3 and 6. I think that with Steph playing at the level that Steph is playing at, he still can play at that level for another year, maybe 2 years, right? I think he could still play at that level for another year, maybe 2 more years tops. I think last year for Klay Thompson was a season where he was showing that I still got the goods. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna be. I think people still looking for 2019 Klay Thompson, and that dude is gone. He's not. I don't think Klay Thompson is what he used to be. I do not think he's that good anymore. However, I still think that he's definitely one of the better 1-2 punches, not just in the Western Conference, in the league. I still think that he's one of the better 1-2 punches in the league. So with that being said, with him and Steph still in the fold, and with Draymond coming back healthy, I just can't count the Warriors out. Last year was the first year since those guys went to the NBA Finals in 2014, in the 14-15 season. Last year was the first year that those guys, when they were together, weren't in the NBA Finals. Last year was the first year that happened. So I can't discount. I can't discount the Golden State Warriors. So I think that they are anywhere between 3 and 6. I don't think that they underperform. I think that they're going to be right where they should be. Memphis, I think they take a step back. I feel like Memphis, I feel like they're going to struggle this season. I do. I feel like Memphis is going to struggle this season, losing Dillon Brooks and losing Ja for those 25 games. They still have to shore up that. I still feel like they got to shore up that. I still feel like they got to shore up that small forward position, which means that at some point, I think that they're going to make a trade, right? I think at some point they're going to make a trade. And with that being said, that could get them better. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how much of an upgrade. I know that they can get upgraded at the small forward position because they don't have that. They don't have it right now. I mean, Zaire Williams. I mean, we're talking about a kid who he's been underwhelming. Yes, he has been. He has not been overwhelming since he got there. He's been very underwhelming. So with that being said, I can't say with 100% certainty that I'm sold on their small forward position. The Phoenix Suns, right? The Phoenix Suns, I'm not sure what to think of the Phoenix Suns because both Devin Booker and Bradley Beal both play the same position. And I've seen Devin Booker be the primary ball handler, but I've seen him do it in stretches. I haven't seen him do it for an entire season where now he's going to be the primary ball handler in the offense. Is KD going to take a step back and let Devin Booker be what Devin Booker could be in this, and let Devin Booker be the primary ball handler and scorer? And can he do that? I think that the Phoenix Suns could be underwhelming. I do. Because KD is going to get banged up. It's happened over the last 3 seasons since 1920, 2021, 21, 22, 22. Over the last 3 seasons, he's gotten banged up. And with him getting banged up, they're going to have to shift their offense because they're going to run a lot of their offense through him. we still got to get. I think Frank Vogel still has to get figured out what. I still think Frank Vogel has to get figured out what he's going to do with DeAndre Ayton. I think DeAndre Ayton could be a better. I think he could be a better version of what Roy Hibbert was in Indiana. I think he could be a better version of that. And I got a hot take for you. I think DeAndre Ayton is an all-league defender this year. I think that he buys into what Frank Vogel is selling. With him buying into what Frank Vogel is selling, and him getting more involved on the backboard, him getting more involved as a paint presence, him getting more involved as a rim protector, I think he could be an all-league defender this year. I do think that. So, with that being said, I think the Phoenix Suns are underwhelming this year. I don't think they're a top 5 seed in the West. I don't think so. I'm not sure that they're a top 5 seed. I'm not sure that they're a top 5 seed in the West. So, there's some teams that are underwhelming or overwhelming, but those teams that I mentioned, that's as far as I'm going. I think Cleveland is going to be better this year. I think that they win a playoff series. I think that they take it a step further than where they already are. I do think that with them. I think they take it a step further than where they already are. And I think they learned from last year and what they saw. I think they're going to be better than what they was last year. I think Philly takes a step back. I don't think Philly going to be that good. I don't think Philadelphia is going to be that good. I think that they take a step back. I think Joel Embiid, I think he's still going to play good, but I think that they take a step back as a crew. I'm not sure what exactly Philadelphia does as a unit. So, hold on, I got a call on line 1.
Yo.
What up?
What up, Chill?
What up?
I heard what you said about the West. I liked a lot of your predictions. I'm not 100% out on Memphis yet. Just because I saw how they played without Ja last season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I really like the head coach. I think that head coach is serious, man. He is a very, very good head coach, and I think a healthy Steven Adams is massive for that unit.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people are just overreacting to fever and translating it to NBA when the NBA plays a little bit different.
I just think that I think that the Memphis Grizzlies losing that small forward spot and not having that, I think that's going to be a problem.
But I also like a lot of their rookies, man. I love a lot of Memphis. The way they develop rookies in Memphis is very, very good, man. Like
that may be true.
The entire system is so good. Like I was even watching them in the summer league, and I was looking at the way they develop talent. And I've never even seen they had that one guy's at Conchar or something. Never heard of this guy before. I started watching this guy's like fundamentally everything this guy can do is like this guy is an NBA level player.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, they really know how to develop players out there. There is a shout I have for an underrated team, which I didn't expect because I'm a fan of this team and I don't like this team right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing some number crunching because there was on the Players' Choice video, they were doing a lot of stuff about the Lakers post trade deadline.
Yeah.
So I was looking into the numbers and trying to see some things, and there was a very, very interesting statistic that I wanted to bring to your attention. Do you know who the number 1 defense was post trade deadline to the end of the regular season?
The Lakers.
Do you know who number 2 was?
Let's see. It wasn't the Warriors. I don't.
It was the Chicago Bulls.
It was the Bulls. Interesting.
So
that doesn't surprise me. I think that was largely due to Alex Caruso. That does not surprise me at all.
So I was looking into this again. I was looking into the numbers. All right. The Chicago Bulls were the 6th overall in the entire season. They were the 5th best defense in the entire NBA, second best after the trade deadline, and they were like the 20th best offense. Now, most of that is due to the fact that the playmaking took a hit without Lonzo, and their 3-point shooting is horrendous, right?
Right.
So I was looking into the additions they made. They brought in a lot of 3-point shooters this offseason, right? A
Right.
lot of 3-point shooters. So I did the maths. I did all the number crunching, and I said, if everything clicks here, they have a top 10 3-point shooting team in the league and a potential top 10 defense. So there's a chance that this is an average offense with a top 10 defense. And they were, 10th seed in the NBA Eastern Conference last year?
Yeah, they lost in the play-in tournament. They lost to Toronto.
Yeah, so there's a chance they can be higher than that. And I think from what people are saying that they're going to miss the playoffs completely and everything, I just look at all those numbers and I think there's a chance for them to being underrated a little bit. I 100% understand why people are out on them a little bit. I'm just looking at the numbers and there's something there which maybe could be capitalized on.
Maybe true. That may be true. And if you look at the Chicago Bulls from a perimeter defensive standpoint, they actually aren't bad. I mean, they got a first team all. I'm not a big fan of Alex Caruso as a defender, only playing his limited time that he was playing.
Yeah.
I'd like to play a little bit more.
I think here's the thing, Chill. If you look at post the deadline, I think it was just because he got injured, like at the first 10, 15 games, which is why his numbers are so low. When you look at his post deadline numbers, he's playing 30 minutes a game.
Right.
And the one thing I will say about Alex Caruso is from a pure IQ standpoint and just a technical standpoint, he is one of the best defenders I've watched in a long time. And
he's one of the best on ball. He's one of the better on ball defenders in the league.
But here's the thing as well.
100%.
Even with the off ball thing, I was watching him in the Bulls. Even that off ball reading, sometimes he can read the pass before he even makes the pass. It's crazy. Like I don't know if it's just because he's played with LeBron and maybe he's taken that in as well, just the ability to read the passing lanes.
Well, he's always been a good defender. He's always been a good defender. That was one of his mantras coming out of college, that he was a good defender.
Yeah,
that was one of his mantras coming out of college.
And
he improved as an on-ball defender as the years went on. Particularly with the Lakers, I saw him become better. Now,
100%. Yeah, that run in 2020, he was
Chicago.
amazing.
When he gets in Chicago, now they basically unleash him as primarily that, right?
Yeah,
unleash him as basically a D&3 guy.
He's a disruptor
guy, and his ability to pick up at not just at the free throw line, but be a disruptor close to half court and disrupt the offense is one of the best that I've seen. I just want to see him play more. That's all.
I get that.
That's all. I just want to see.
There's a final point I want to make on the Bulls and why they're underrated, and it comes down to the biggest X factor on this team. Right? There's a lot of stuff about their young players and stuff, which we can get onto a long time. That's just there's too much I have to predict on that. I'm looking at proven value, and I'm looking at a certain big man. All right. I was running the numbers again. Nikola Vucevic might be the most undervalued asset in the NBA, and I'll tell you why. With the Chicago Bulls team, he has the third most assists out of any big man in the NBA. Depending on what site you use, it might be third or fourth, right?
Right.
The third most assists out of any big man in the NBA. The Chicago Bulls were dead last in 3-point attempts last year. Right? Whenever Vucevic made a pass, it had 100% completion. It increased their offensive rating 100%. And he was fourth in touches in the entire team, right?
So why weren't they better? What's the problem with Chicago? Because these numbers that you're telling me, why weren't the Chicago Bulls better than
Well, here's the thing. I think they figured something out post-deadline. They figured something out. And I think what happened is they lost their point guard and they were trying to figure out how they resolved that situation. I think Zach LaVine had a knee issue in the first half of the year. He was missing a lot of back-to-backs. He was on load management because of I think he had like a knee surgery in the offseason. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't really playing in the first half of the season. And they were just losing games because without Zach LaVine on that unit, there's no elite 3-point shooter at the time. Right? And then you compile that with losing Lonzo and you with all the deficiencies that team already has, it just snowballs. And especially in the league now, right? If you're the worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA,
right,
you're always going to have a math problem, right? So I'm not saying that this team's a championship contending team, but I just see I look at the way the Kings are play offense, right? And I see the way Sabonis plays, and I look at him as a player, and I see a lot of Vucevic, right? In terms of the dribble handoffs, the playmaking, I would actually say Vucevic is a better shooter
Mm-hmm.
than Sabonis, a better
Right.
post player. I don't think he's as aggressive as a rebounder as Sabonis. I think Sabonis is incredible at eating the glass. But in terms of purely setting up that offense, if the Bulls, now this is another thing, if the Bulls have to make that decision to play through Vucevic, right? There was a
They did that last year. They did that
They
last
didn't do
year.
that. He was fourth in touches, and that might be the reason why they
He was fourth on the team in touches or fourth in the league in touches?
Fourth in the team.
Okay.
So I remember there was an interview with,
and you understand why that was. The reason why that was because that their lead guard. I think that they would have gone to him if they would have if they would have had Lonzo, they would have gone to him more. And not only that,
100%.
I think Vooch is a lot better defender than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
He might not be Giannis as a defender. He might not be Bam as a defender. No, I don't think he's that good, but he's a lot better than people give him credit for. His ability to be a paint presence and be
100%.
a disruptor in the paint, I think that people undervalue that. Because I watch him in the paint. Again, he's not rim protecting like Giannis. He's not rim protecting like Embiid, but he definitely causes more problems in the paint than people give him
unlike
credit
a lot
for.
of these bigs, Chill, he's a problem in the post. Whenever he gets
He could score
the
on
ball,
anybody. He could score on anybody. 100%. He could score on anybody. So
I think, and this is the thing, right? This depends on whether they make that decision to revolve their offense around Vooch. They should be looking at the Kings and the Nuggets. I believe their GM is actually from the Nuggets, and there's an interview from Vucevic saying he won't sign a contract unless he's involved more in the offense. So you think about all of the things that have been happening, and that indicates that maybe he might get a better role on this offense. And if that does happen, I can see an avenue where you look at the numbers and everything, and you go, you know what? Maybe they can be a better team than they were last year. And maybe they are being a bit undervalued.
Maybe. All right, Adrian, I'm going to let you go, brother. Good to talk to you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. The Bulls. Pay attention to the Bulls. The Bulls might be underrated. What up?
What's good, OG?
What up?
I have a few questions on my mind. So my first one is DeMarcus Cousins, right? So how good could he have been? Could he have been like a Jokic type good? Because really, we're talking about how great Jokic is right now. But DeMarcus Cousins was doing all of this before Jokic was really, but he was even a better ball handler and I'll say playmaker. Well, I don't know about playmaker, but as far as ball handling, rebounding, and defense, I'll give it to Cousins. And even scoring,
No, he wasn't. No.
Really?
No.
You don't think he's a better scorer or defender than Jokic?
No, I don't. I do not think that he was a better rebounder. That's number one. No, I don't think he was a better rebounder. I think that they're very similar in their rebounding, but I think Joker was a better defensive rebounder than Boogie Cousins. And the could have been logic. I mean, when did Boogie start breaking down? He broke down in New Orleans. What season was that? That was
2017.
2017, 2018. That's year 8 that he was in. So the idea of what he could have been, I mean, he was in year 8. This is around the time when big guys start to slow down. When you get to around between year 8 to year 10, that's when he started breaking down. Now, the idea of him being better than Joe, he was not the passer that Joker was. He was not the offensive player that Joker was. Now, on the perimeter, his ability to get to the basket and go one-on-one, I'll give you that because I think he was a better athlete than Joker. He wasn't as smart as Joker. I don't think he had the basketball IQ that Joker did, that Joker had. Them playing off of him, plus that offense that they ran in Sacramento. That offense that they ran in Sacramento, which was running, I think I lost him. That offense that they ran in Sacramento, where they was running it through him, he wasn't nearly as effective as Joker was in Denver. So no, I don't think that he could have been as good as Joker, but I did think that he was awesome. Though. I will tell you that. What up?
Oh.
What up?
Hello. Yep.
What up? What up?
So I was thinking I think an overrated team, but also could be underrated is the Suns. I see them like the Knicks when they had like Ewing, King, Starks, all like these big names, but they had like their Jordan in front of them. I think the Suns' Jordan is their. I think obviously it's lack of defense because KD yes, he has length, but length doesn't mean you're a defender. I mean, he is a good shot blocker, but he's as obviously as he ages, he's not as quick and agile as he used to be. Beal, more of an offensive guy. Booker's never really been a defender. Ayton is your really anchor, but how much better will he make them defensively?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the league that we're in now, the time that we're in now, where offense is so predicated and so important, especially three, especially, obviously we still have the mid-range guys, the old school, KD, Booker, DeRozan, all these dudes, but how important the offense is. They're a rebuilt Nets team. Instead of Kyrie, you got Beal or whoever you want to say. Instead of Harden, you got Booker.
Well, my first question to you is who is there, like that Knicks team you talked about, right? So the Knicks had Jordan standing in front of them. So with this team here, who is, I'm not this Knicks team, I'm sorry, with the Suns team, who is the Jordan standing in front of them?
I feel like it's either going to be KD or Booker. Because
so you mean on the team, not standing in front of them?
I think it's mainly what their Jordan is their team in general. Their team.
Oh, so they're a guy. So who is the guy on that crew? The guy on that crew is definitely Devin Booker.
Yeah, I think it's Devin.
Yes.
Booker. I think KD knows that. KD, obviously, he's the guy that, all right, if you need a bucket, you're gonna go to him. But KD is like, he has the LeBron mindset. Yeah, I can get this bucket, but this dude, he's nice and he's younger. He's more versatile. He knows what he's got to do.
Right.
But then it becomes, well, who are you gonna go to at the last second? Because we know what Beal can do last second. Obviously, we know what KD can do. We know Booker.
Well, what can Beal do in the last second? I mean, we haven't seen him do much since he signed that deal. So what can he do? Not only that, both him and Devin Booker play the same spot. Devin Booker, this is the first time that he's going to be a primary ball handler for a season. Like, he's only had to do it in stretches when Chris Paul was in and out the lineup. He doesn't have that luxury anymore. He's going to have to do it for the entire season now. So that's a question. Can he do it for an entire season?
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think it'll be a very big adjustment because playing a point guard, I think people misunderstand the importance of not just being, okay, like, you can have a handle, but can you see someone? Can you put them in that spot? Can you put them in the position to score? That's why I think Ayton will be worse this season. I truly think he'll be worse because I don't.
I think they change his game. I do. I think they change his game.
I don't think he will be as effective. I think he'll be someone who he's gonna have to clean glass a lot more, and he's gonna have to play more dirty ball.
Which he can do that. Yeah. I mean, he averaged 11 rebounds last year.
Yeah,
I think 10 or 11 rebounds, so he can do that stuff.
But when you're a center that knows how your game is predicated, how would you feel knowing, like, damn, I'm not going to get the ball now? Because his pick and roll is just going to be, all right, let me set a screen, try to get the defender stuck. If I'm open on the block or on the pin down, whatever, throw it over, lob it. He's a good lobster, but it's like, how much does that affect you as a player, knowing, like, I'm like the fifth option versus when you were the third option?
Well, I don't think that it affects him that much in this particular situation because, number one, he went out and found a deal.
Yeah.
When he got signed by Indiana. There weren't a lot of takers. So that right there can humble you. That's number one. Number two, when he comes into this season, he came into this season with Chris Paul last season with Chris Paul, and his numbers were good.
Yeah.
So coming into this season with a guy like Frank Vogel, who's a defensive mastermind, the teams that he was on with the Lakers, they had one of the best defenses in the league. I think they had a top 5 defense when they won the NBA championship.
Yeah,
and when
White, JaVale.
Yeah, I think they had a top 5 defense. So with that being said, to change his game and now make him more of a paint presence, make him more of a think Roy Hibbert. Think Clint Capella set better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I'm thinking when I think about him. Think Roy Hibbert, think Clint Capella set better offensively, where they're getting him that. But my problem still is when the game gets helter-skelter, when the game gets out of control, who is that floor leader that's going to slow the game down? It's going to get these guys back organized, because you can't just play. There's a reason why the Dallas Mavericks won the NBA championship in 2011, even though they didn't run a lot of sets. They had Jason Kidd. So when the game did get out of control, right? So when the game got out of control, they were able to. They had a lead guard who can slow things down and get guys in. So when the game slows down and get guys in half court where we can get sets to run. With Phoenix, are we just going to give the ball to KD when the game slows down? I mean, I don't know how effective that's going to be.
I mean, we've even seen it when he was in Golden State. It's like when you take that ball out of Curry, Draymond, even Clay's hand, it's like, and you give it to KD, he's not looking to be like, okay, let me see what I can do to probably get someone else over. He's like, I'm Kevin Durant. I'm gonna go get me one.
Right.
I'm not. And then it's like, well, if you're Bradley Beal, you're probably thinking the same thing. I'm Bradley Beal. You know who I am. I'm born leader. This, that. What? I'm gonna go get this bucket.
Right.
And whether I make it or miss it, that's on me. So, and then it's like, I will say, I don't know. I think I just think it's more of like, you have your, like, you have like, I feel like he could become, if Devin decides to leave, I think he could be what AD is going to be for the Lakers. I think he is the AD of that team. I think he is that pinnacle person that he needs to help that team much more than we realize.
Right.
Because he's going to be what we expected Rudy Gobert to be. That's exactly what he's going to be. He's going to be the guy, the defensive anchor, make everyone else want to play defense. And
if he could be that, if he could be that on that Phoenix team, considering what they look like with KD and with Devin Booker offensively, they're gonna be hell in the Western Conference. They're gonna be hell in the Western, because that other stuff you can shore that up. Yeah. And at the trade deadline, you can get yourself a lead guard. I think that can happen. But if you got a paint presence where you got a guy that's cleaning glass and rim protecting and slowing down the paint and manning the paint, and that's something that guys like KD and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal don't have to concern themselves with, because now I got a dude behind me. I'm already on record. My hot take for this season is DeAndre Ayton is an all-league defender this year. That's my hot take for the season.
I don't even think that's a hot take. I think he's always been that, but I think he, like, now, considering he's in a position where you don't have that Chris Paul, you've lost the guy that made you actually your skills utilized more. I think he's now stepping into the role of, okay, I need to be the defender. I will say this though, about this is about the Lakers now. I think the Lakers season come down to how the coach plays the players, because I think the one thing we get misconstrued is, because I have a better player, I need to start him.
Right.
I personally would start either Jackson Hayes or, oh my God, what's his
Rui?
Name? No, not Rui. Not Rui.
Let's see. You got who do you have on that front line?
From the other center they signed, he was in Dallas.
Who was just Wood, Christian Wood.
Yes, I would either start him or Wood at the 5, AD at the 4,
right?
3, whomever you want the 2, and I mean Reed's at the 2, and D'Angelo obviously at the 1, or someone else, the guy from Miami. It's late night. I just got back because I forget their names, because I get it. Rui is nice. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I don't understand why we forget 2020 when we saw Dwight at the 5 or JaVale at the 5, AD at the 4, and even we saw Dwight at the 4 with JaVale at the 5.
Right.
And how dominant that team was, because they felt so much more comfortable on defense. LeBron felt more comfortable on defense because he's like, okay, well, I just got to play in the perimeter. I got big dudes down there. I don't
Right.
need to waste my stamina because that's always how LeBron's game been. Outside of like his peak years, when he slowed down, his game was so much better when he had a K Love and a Mozgov and an AD because
Right.
I just gotta play. I just gotta handle my business up here. Down there, that's
Right.
you, big fella. That's all you.
Right. Absolutely. No doubt.
Like,
So
and then it's like I think it's like, okay, I get it. People were telling me, well, Rui's the better player. We saw what he did in the playoffs. I get that, but because you're a better player, that means you fit the lineup better. That doesn't mean
no, it doesn't. Better player does not mean better fit. No, it does not.
because we saw with Westbrook, he fit better as a second unit guy because he had the ball
with the
more.
Lakers.
Yeah,
But he also fit better. He also fit better as a first unit guy with the Clippers.
Yeah, and
So,
even with the Wizards, it's
right.
like it just
fit
depends
better.
on how you utilize and the type of
Sure.
player you put around. Even with,
100%.
I still say this right now with Luka, I think he's missing a Clint Capella type player. I think he's missing a guy who is such a lob threat that makes him so much more deadly in the half court.
Well, that's what this kid Lively is supposed to be.
Yeah,
That's
I
the,
think-
that,
I
that-
hope.
even though I think he's a project, I'm not sure
Yeah,
that he's somebody that's going to immediately, as good as Luka is at getting guys involved, and as responsible as he is for a lot of people's offense, I think that Lively is going to need some time to develop. So I think that he's a project more than anything. So
I
Big
vote
Herb,
that.
I'm gonna let you go, brother.
You
Good to talk
man.
to you,
I
brother.
appreciate
Yes,
that.
sir.
Good talking
No
too.
doubt. Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely, brother. I think he's a project more than anything, and because of that, I can't say with 100% certainty, looking at that Dallas unit, that they shoring up, that they're going to shore that they're going to shore up that big man spot, because the big man spot is what has been their Achilles heel. When they had KP, they really didn't know what to do with him. They didn't know how they were using him, right? And then you get Dwight Powell on the crew, and you weren't getting anything from him offensively. Nothing from him. As good as Luka is at at providing offense for other guys, he could not get Dwight Powell off. And the reason why he couldn't get Dwight Powell off, because he doesn't have really good touch around the rim. He doesn't have any post moves. He's not a guy that I can go to on the block on a consistent basis. He doesn't play in the mid post at all. So they weren't really getting much from the 5 spot. And I think that's where their Achilles heel is. If you come into this season now with this kid Lively, who is also a project, right? This kid Lively, who was also a project, you're still going to have a problem with that guy in the hole. So now the Lakers don't have a problem with that. The Lakers don't have that issue. Not only do the Lakers not have that issue, Phoenix doesn't have that issue. Phoenix got a good big. The Clippers got a good big. So there's a number of different teams that have good bigs. And because they got good bigs, that's going to be a problem for Dallas because they got to make up for that. And I don't think that Kyrie Irving and Luka alone are going to make up for what everybody else is doing on those crews, plus that big man spot. I think that's where the problem is. What up?
Uncle Chill, what's good?
What up?
What's going on, Chill?
What
Man,
up?
I'm here to talk about my Timberwolves, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm looking at it like this, Joe, man. They gotta make a second round this year, man. They gotta take that next step, man.
How are they going to do that if you're looking at this unit, right? If you're looking at this unit from like the first 7 guys, how are they going to do that?
Man, honestly, man, with defense,
Right. Mm-hmm.
we got Jaden McDaniels, who I think is probably the best perimeter defender in the NBA. We got Anthony Edwards. When he turns it on, he can play defense.
Mm-hmm.
We got Rudy Gobert, who's going to be our rim protector.
Mm-hmm.
And Cat, I mean, he can block some shots or whatever. Then we got Mike Conley. He's older. He's on the older side, but
Right.
he can still play some defense.
Now,
So go ahead, Joe.
I'm not completely out on the Cat logic, and the reason why is because he missed 54 games, so you ain't really we ain't really get to see these guys like we got to see Anthony Davis and James, like we got to see like we didn't get to see as much of him, these two guys together. I'd like to see these guys together this season and see if we can and see if we can get some better continuity, right? See if we can get a mixture of these two guys, because if you look at what Cat's doing at the 4 spot, he struggled last year at the 4 spot. Having seen that, maybe him seeing that now he can make that transition into the 4 spot, as opposed to last year where it was just new and he was completely lost. He had no idea what he was doing, none whatsoever.
What I don't understand about Chris Finch though is that he just like. You got Cat in the post. Like, even when I was watching that Denver series, sometimes he should punish Aaron Gordon. He should punish Bruce Brown. He should punish Jeff Green. But it's just like sometimes Cat, he just so perimeter oriented. Like he just likes shooting threes. He doesn't like playing back to the basket. I don't understand that.
That's because that's who he is as a big man. Like he's the modern day big man. I've watched plenty of times where he's gotten switched on Kyle Lowry, and instead of burying Kyle Lowry underneath the basket, he's on the perimeter throwing the ball between his legs trying to take Kyle Lowry to the basket, which I'm on record saying that the NBA tricked the big man.
Yes,
the NBA tricked the big man, made him think that he got to play further away from the basket. I know that as the big man, you got to play in the mid post, you got to play in the mid range, but your best asset is playing on the box.
Most definitely.
That's your best asset.
And I'll go chill. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. I think even though we lost before the playoffs, we lost Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid. I honestly think I don't think we would have beat Denver, but if Jaden McDaniels did not hit the damn wall and break his hand, man, that series would have been a lot tougher, because
Bruce Brown said it was the toughest series that they had in the playoffs.
And
he said that. Bruce Brown on the world champion Denver Nuggets said Minnesota gave us the toughest time of Phoenix, the Lakers, and Miami. He said Minnesota gave us the toughest time.
Yes, because just Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he was playing okay defense on Murray, but man, if we would have just been able just to have Jaden McDaniels, man, he wouldn't have been able to stop Jamal Murray, because he's a hell of a player. But he could have slowed it down. He could have slowed him down just a little bit.
Or make it difficult on him. That's the idea. Yeah. Make it difficult on him. Like Jamal Murray is coming down against the Miami Heat. He's getting whatever he wants. And the reason why he's getting whatever he wants is because they running the offense through Joker. So now what we can't do is we can't really press him, because there's so much action going on off the basketball. We can't press him even when he got the ball. So when he got to do like Gabe Vincent on him, when he got a guy like KCP on him, he'll just immediately get off the ball and get it to Joker, and they'll run offense through him. Now he couldn't really do that. They didn't. If he would have had Jaden McDaniels on him, it would have. I'm not saying that Jaden McDaniels could have shut him down, but he would have made it a lot more difficult, because ball pressure would have gone up. You got a bigger guard, right? You got a bigger guard on him, so I think it would have been more difficult for him. I had Minnesota last year before the season started. I had them as a top 5 seed. I'm still on that.
Yeah,
I'm still on that with Minnesota, because from a talent standpoint, if you look at this crew, Anthony Edwards, I think Anthony Edwards is going to be an All-NBA performer. Cat is one of the best big men in the game. Rudy's still one of the best rim protectors and rebounders in the game. Jaden McDaniels, some people, you in particular, you think he's the best perimeter defender in the game, and you can make a legit argument that he is. Naz Reid, one of the best dirty work guys in the game. So Mike Conley, one of the best vet guards in the game. This crew is put together to make some noise in the playoffs. Yes. So they shouldn't be a 7-8 seed, barring injury. If they're healthy, they should be vying for a top 5 seed. They should be.
Yeah, I think so too, man. But also too, man, that's a lot of I think a lot of our issues also sometimes, man, be coaching. Just like last year when we played Memphis in the playoffs, we should have beat Memphis in the playoffs. We was up like 3 games in a row, up double digits, and blew every single game.
That's Cat though. That was Cat. That was with everything that you're saying in terms of coaching. It was Cat more than anything. I watch Cat fizzle at the end of games. I watch Cat move further and further away from the basket as the games were going on. Further and further, he got pushed away from the basket. That's why you signed Rudy, because you didn't have that toughness that you needed in order to get past these dudes. But then Cat broke down, so we didn't really get to see what this crew looked like. But we're gonna get to see what they look like this year. So, all right, brother. I know I'll talk to you 100%. What up?
Chill. Can you hear me?
Yep. What up?
How's it going, Chill?
Good.
I got what happened to my Patriots last night, Chill? What happened to my Patriots last week?
What happened to your Patriots? I mean, you got three. If I'm not mistaken, you got back in the game. Not only did you get back in the game, you marching down the field, and you're in the middle of the field with 2 minutes, and you can't move the football. Why you can't move the football, I don't know. So that part I'm still.
Yeah. This week it was very interesting. Last week it was pretty interesting. I mean, the Giants just got curb stomped by the Cowboys. I mean, it wasn't even close. Ugh, it was terrible. Also, who did your 49ers play?
Pittsburgh.
How'd you guys do against them?
Stomped them 30-7.
Jesus.
Stomped them in Pittsburgh, by the way.
In their own house?
In Pittsburgh, went in there and stomped them.
All right. And my second question to you is, which one of these 4 or 5 players would be the best with another player's attribute? Luka with Gary Payton's defense, Joker with LeBron's athleticism, Embiid with Steph Curry's shooting, or Jason Tatum with Steve Nash's playmaking?
I think Luka's biggest deficiency is his defense. So if Luka could defend like Gary Payton with the offense that he has, he'd be pretty impossible to deal with. Because I think he'd be a better athlete. That's number one. And with him being a better defender, he would be even more difficult on offense because he would be creating offense with his defense. So, yeah, I'd have to say Luka with Gary Payton's defense.
Even with an added athleticism to Joker's game, which is kind of like one of his biggest things. But
we've seen less athletic guys be awesome. Like Bird isn't that athletic, and he was awesome. Luka isn't that athletic, and he's awesome. So I don't think adding athleticism to a guy is going to make them that much more awesome. If you add in a specific skill, I mean, all right, if I could run faster and jump higher, okay, sure, that's going to help my game 100%. I think that would help Joker's game if he could run faster and jump high. He dropped 35 pounds. So that did help his game. But if you're going to add a specific skill set to a guy's game, like making Luka a better defender, that's hard to overcome for anybody.
I got one more question for you, Chill. I know you've been watching football for a long time, so I wanted to ask you, who was your favorite football player growing up? Who would you would just turn on the TV and you'd immediately go and watch him? Who was your favorite football player?
I bleed 49er red. If anybody knows me, they know I bleed 49er red. But if Walter Payton was on TV, I was in front of the TV.
Really?
All day. If Walter Payton was if the Bears was on, I was in front of the TV because I wanted to watch him.
What was so entertaining about him? I didn't get to see him play at all. So
I'm a big fan of the workhorse back. The dude that we're going to get a football to 20, 25 times a game, and he's just going to truck you. He's not going to shy away from contact. He's going to they're going to pound you, and they're going to pound you into the ground. Not only was Walter Payton good at avoiding tackles, he was even better at shedding tackles. So Walter Payton was that kind of running back where if you hit him, one guy was not going to bring him down. That's just not who he was.
So he wasn't scared of physicality.
In fact, he was inviting it. So that linebacker that's standing in the middle, that's supposed to run stop, he's running right at. So imagine Aaron Donald running right at Aaron Donald. Like, we ain't running to the sideline. No, he putting his helmet down and he running right at him. That's who Walter Payton was. He just invited
contact.
And he's doing that the whole game. Like, he ain't doing that like once or twice, to set. No, every time they run the football up the gut, I'm running right at Aaron Donald. I'm running right at Ray Lewis. He doing that all game long.
Did he get hurt a lot? Did he get hurt
No.
a lot due to that?
13 years, he only missed 2 games.
Damn.
That was it.
All
That's
right,
it.
chill.
All right, brother. Good to talk to
You
you.
have a good one.
Yep.
Chill. What up,
What up?
OG?
What up?
Hey, man. Listen, much love to you and the Players' Choice. Man, they got to stop this hating on the OGs, man. The hate on Larry Bird, the hate on John Stockton, that's got to stop, fam. These youngins, man, they got it twisted, bro. I know they can't be out here disrespecting John Stockton and Larry Bird like
I
that,
think it's
bro.
dope, to be honest with you. To be quite
It's
honest with
dope.
you, I think it's so dope. And
Yeah,
you know
it's
why it's dope?
But they're wrong.
The reason why I think it's dope is because in 20 years, these dudes is gonna be my age, and they're gonna have to listen to their nephews, their sons, tell them that Kobe Bryant played against plumbers. They're gonna have to listen to Damian Lillard was playing against StreamYard and podcasters. That's what they're gonna have to listen. They're gonna have to listen to Steph Curry played in a wide open era where you couldn't put your hands on people. They're gonna have to listen to that. He wasn't that good, and they're gonna go nuts. So I think it's dope that they're doing that, because what come around, go around.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree. But what I'm saying is they're wrong. Like Larry Bird is, they gotta understand something. I understand he's not athletic, but Larry Bird is, I'm just gonna get to my spot, I'm gonna raise up, I'm gonna shoot over you, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing, I'm gonna get a bucket.
Right.
John Stockton, I mean, obviously I'm not an NBA player. You've been around more closer people, but I like to consider myself an historian.
Right.
I've listened, I've read a lot of things. John Stockton, from what Gary Payton said, I'm gonna believe what the gloves say. Let's just get it off rip. He said he's one of the strongest, most physical players he had to deal with.
He said he was tougher to deal with than Jordan.
You saw
He
that,
said
right?
he said he was tougher to deal with than Jordan, which I don't think that's ridiculous. And the reason why I don't think that's ridiculous is because of how much he does. That's why I don't think that's ridiculous.
Because he said he picked him up playing 94 feet too. Like, you know what I mean?
Again, I think it's dope that they do that. Even the fact that they wrong, I still think it's dope that they do it, because it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back to bite them. And when it comes back to bite them, they're gonna see how we felt. And I don't really get myself that emotionally involved in it as much as I did initially. Like when I think about me and Lo going back and forth with John Stockton, I'm like, Lo, you're not changing my mind. Lo, I'm not changing your mind. And all the logic that I give you, as good as Bird is, as much as you try to bash Bird, I can give you legit logic on why he was better than you think he is. And I'm not changing your mind, but you're not changing my mind either. So I can't say with 100% certainty that it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, because again, it's gonna come back to bite them. You watch.
Two quick things before I get off. Now, I understand everyone loves Steve Nash this, Steve Nash that, but do people realize that the NBA changed the physicality and defensive rules that catered to Steve Nash's play style right before his 2 MVPs popped off? Do people realize that?
But here's the difference, though. With that being said, even if the rules was changing, he still was on the trajectory of doing that. So remember, him in Dallas, he still was an All-Pro. In Dallas, he was an All-Star.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. In Dallas, so it's not ridiculous to think that. Let's see who we got today. That's a third team. Let's say Trae Young, for example. Is it ridiculous to think that Trae Young ends up getting traded? I don't know. Let's say he gets traded to Minnesota, and Minnesota starts rolling. And in the process of Minnesota rolling, Trae becomes more efficient, and that offense becomes so much better. Is it ridiculous to think that Trae Young could be in the MVP conversation, considering where he already was as an all-league performer?
I mean, if he brings them, if hypothetically speaking, if he brings them to like a top 3 seed, absolutely. I mean,
and that's what Nash did in Phoenix. That's exactly what Nash did in Phoenix. And it wasn't like he got on Phoenix and he automatically was nice. Well, wait a minute. He was that before he showed up to Phoenix. Was he a first-team all-league? Was he a first-team all-league performer? No. Was he a great defender? He never was a great defender. No, he never was a great defender. No way. Absolutely not. And that Phoenix offense, I equate it to a punch-drunk boxer. I think I can hit you more than I can stop you from hitting me. That's what it was. So, and that offense, which is very much what Golden State just enhanced. That's all it is. But with that being said, Steve Nash, I feel like he was on a trajectory of doing what he was doing. Now, did I expect back-to-back league MVPs? No, I did not expect that. But did I expect him to be better? Yeah, I did. And he was.
Yeah, but I mean, real ones know Diesel and Kobe. Diesel and Kobe should have gotten those MVPs that year, but that's another topic for another.
Here's the difference, though. Like, we talk about Kobe Bryant winning the league MVP in 2006. You know who came in second in league MVP votes that year?
Steve Nash?
No. James.
Yeah.
James came in second. He averaged 31 a game that year. 31, 7, and 7. I think Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland finished what, third that year in the East? Something like that.
Speaking of Bron, and I know you say Steph isn't a point guard, which I respect your opinion on that. But with that same logic, Joe, do you consider LeBron a point guard?
I consider him a point forward, like Scottie Pippen. That's what I consider him. I don't look at him like Magic, like Stockton, like Oscar Robertson, Isaiah Thomas. No, I look at him like Scottie Pippen, like how Bird was. That's how I look at him. Mm. Yep.
And one more thing, LeBron. One more thing, LeBron, because I grew up a huge Kobe guy, hated LeBron, but through the years, I've grown to respect the greatness of Bron.
Right.
Now you tell me if I'm wild for this take. Like, everyone likes to think LeBron had his second half of his, like, when he entered Miami. Like, when he got to Miami, that was like the second chapter of his career. But would you agree with me when this is my take on LeBron? I feel like after that Dallas, when they lost to Dallas, I feel like that was the beginning of his second chapter.
That's why I think it was so good.
And what I mean by that is he started developing that jump shot. It wasn't as effective, but it was to the point where defenses had to respect it. Yeah. And that opened up so much more offensively with him. Right. And that's what made him much more of a terror of a player. The second he developed just a threatening jump shot, it was like, that's it. You know what I mean?
And it got better. And it got better. And it got better through right. It got better through time. I don't think you wow with that. The reason why I don't think you wow with that was because that could have went two ways. What you just said, right, and what you saw him do, or he could have fell off a cliff.
Yeah, right.
And just went and just went the other way. That's why when I talk about all-time greats, like stuff like that matters. Like when you fail, like how do you recover from that? How do you come back from that? What do you do to come back from that to make yourself better? He could have folded like a lawn chair, and we could have never saw this dude again. He comes back better as a distributor, as a jump shooter. Not only that, expands his game even later on because he sees that the game is going more towards the long ball line. I got to put this in my game too. I can't just be a rock'em sock'em downhill guy that's just barreling over people. No, I got to put this in my game.
And this
otherwise I'm not going to last.
This the other thing with Bron, right? I've never seen Steph Curry got those two. Like, hypothetically, if LeBron was on a 73-win team, right, and they were up 3-1 and they lost, and if he recruited Kevin Durant or another top 5 player in the league, he would get destroyed for it. But for some reason, Steph Curry is like, it's like
take James off the table, Nick. Take James off the table. Just think about other guys. Think about other guys in the league just today. Like, can you imagine if Luka was up 3-1 in the NBA Finals and got walked down and then end up getting Embiid on his team?
Like, people would crush him for it, I feel like.
What would that look like?
Wild.
Like, imagine if Jason Tatum was up 3-1 in the NBA Finals and got walked down, right? And then he ends up getting Joker on his team.
Wild. But for some reason, Steph is glorified for it. Like, to me, I don't count those 2 rings, Chill. I don't count them.
I count them because he still did his job.
Went out and won it. But
yeah, I count him because he still did his job.
Of course,
I do.
But would you have been more surprised if they lost it or them winning the chip? And my answer is I would have been more surprised if they didn't win the chip. You know what I mean?
100%.
So
no doubt about that. All right, brother.
Much love, Chill.
Yup. Out.
You know I'm proud of you, right?
About what?
I'm proud of you. You know, I just saw your short about the greatest point guard retired in 1991, and you went into all of that soliloquy about how the floor general mantra doesn't apply to Steph at all. You know who else said that? Me. I said that a long time ago. And didn't I tell you weeks and months ago, bro? Everything that I say is real. It's just somebody says it much more fluent than me, and then all of a sudden it's right, it's this and that's that. I'm like, didn't Leaf say this a long time ago? But Leaf was smacking. I'm smacking right now. But I like the title of your show. What is it? Underrated and overrated teams this year. And
Right.
I want to get into the underrated team, which I think is a couple of teams, but did you see that it was a couple of ass whippings on Sunday, I like to refer to. Us beating the Bears, so I got to talk to your partner in crime, man, because of stomping a mud hole in the Bears.
Do you have your quarterback?
Yeah, I believe we do.
You think you got your quarterback?
I believe we do. I mean, listen, if you watch that game, he looked like he played in the league for about 5 years. And Justin Fields,
amazing what happens when you sit behind somebody and learn the game, huh? Ain't that amazing?
Yeah, isn't it right?
Damn.
It is amazing what happens, man.
Kind of crazy when I get the job and I really don't know what I'm doing, and somebody show me how to do it.
Yes,
and
it's amazing when you get to sit back and observe, because isn't that how things was done back in the day? What was it, Steve Young, Brett Favre? Like, come on, like, yeah, like, yo, look at all of them dudes that sat behind quarterbacks and then became what they became, man. Like, it's just like, and then everybody's talking to me about Aaron Rodgers. He throws one pass, his Jet season is over, because I know the Jets inside and out. This is why I don't approve of the Giants or the Jets. I ain't gonna get to them Niners, man. That's another team. What's
the deal? Am I tripping? Are the Giants that bad, or was the Cowboys defense just that good?
I think the Giants might be that bad, man. We don't give the Cowboys respect. We don't give the Cowboys respect.
That offensive line for the Giants is garbage.
Yeah, it is. It's not good at all. It wasn't good last year. They was just getting over. Like, it wasn't good. They was just getting over.
Y'all niggas trash. Y'all think y'all slick. Y'all just getting over. Y'all think y'all slick.
Getting over. That's what it was the whole last year. I was seeing it. I was telling my brother. I was telling everybody in my family. I'm like, yo, y'all know y'all garbage, right?
Straight trash. Y'all ain't tricking nobody.
They ain't tricking nobody at all. Man.
Y'all just got over with a real good running back.
That's what it was. It was Daniel Jones, roll out left, roll out right, and that's what it was. That was the game plan. But I'm gonna get to some of my underrated and overrated teams. All right, so real quick, the very first conversation you had, man, you tried to you got disgusted with me when I named a specific team called the Pelicans, and I didn't.
Overrated or underrated?
Damn, I'd say at full strength, underrated, but knowing that they're gonna come into the season with the same issues, with the same injury issues with Brandon Ingram and Zion with his issues now, it seems like they're gonna go in the overrated column. But when they're healthy,
top five seed over under.
Damn,
it's that Zion thing that's screwing you up.
It is
because he's a linchpin. Leave. No matter what else you tell me about anybody else, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy.
Who you like?
I love him. Valanciunas or Brandon Ingram. The linchpin here is Zion. If Zion ain't healthy, we're gonna see the same thing that we saw last year. We're gonna see the same thing.
You know what's crazy? I can't disagree with you, but at full strength, is Minnesota better than them at full strength? I don't think so.
Not only at full strength. Remember what I talked about when I talked about New Orleans having a point guard issue? How about we give the ball to Zion and because he can play the point guard.
Yeah,
he can play the lead guard spot.
Zion is for real. I said that last year.
How about we give the ball to Zion, let him be the lead guard, and we'll run it through him. If we do that, I think they could be a top 5 seed.
Listen,
but the problem that we having is, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Leaf, I had an argument on the panel with these dudes today. I'm pretty sure I lost some years on my life. But with that being said, I told these dudes, what's gonna happen is you're gonna see these dudes. These games are gonna go up. Don't be surprised if you see Anthony Davis play 70 games this year. Don't be surprised if you see Kawhi Leonard play 68 games this year and Paul George play 69 games this year. Don't be surprised if you see that. And you know why? The reason why you're going to see that is because the reason why you're going to see that is because I got an incentive in my contract that say if I make the All-NBA team, that's an extra $500,000.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Listen, Chilltown, I already know the AC Green move is coming. They're going to sub in the game and sub out.
I'm telling you.
Yes,
Watch what's going to happen.
They're going to sub in the game and they're going to sub in the game and they're going to sub out. But to get back to the Pelicans for a second, I strongly believe, I mean, obviously the Zion factor is in. I think I feel kind of bad for this team because they put a lot of pieces in place defensively with Herb and Alvarado and CJ and Trey Murphy. And if you look at their roster, you're just thinking to yourself like, yo, Zion, how is it that you can't get right for this group? How is it, man? Like I'm like, yo, just get right. I need you to get right.
He don't take care of his body. That's the problem we have.
Yeah, but another team I got before I go. And I'm going to be on that episode when y'all do it, bro. So you better get ready for 2 hours of me. It's, of course, my Brooklyn Nets. And the go-to thing with our team coming into this year is reserves. Reserves. You got them everywhere, man. We got a lineup where if we run the starting five, and all I talk about is Nets basketball. Shout out to Big Fan Breezy. Shout out to Nets Daily. Shout out to Nets Kingdom. That's all I talked about for the past. And you know I rant and rave. I did a rant on your show about them and everything. So all I talk about is DSJ, one of the best point of attack defenders coming out of last year. Still athletic, still could get downhill. Obviously, Royce O'Neal was one of the best perimeter defenders on Utah. DFS was the best defender on Dallas. It's a lot of guys coming in from situations, and I look at this team almost the same way I look at the Utah Jazz last year. Just a lot of guys that was just casted off and not looked at as they ain't gonna do nothing, they ain't gonna do this. And I think in the Eastern Conference, one of the ingredients to go like to make a deep run, you gotta have reserves. You gotta have reserves.
What's the plan? What's the plan moving forward with Cam Thomas? What you doing with him?
Oh, damn! Everybody keep asking me that. Oh my God, Cam Thomas. My thing is like, if management wanted to come up off of him, I think we would have did that along with Seth Curry, who was a defensive liability we got rid of, and Joe Harris, who was robbing us for about 5 years.
Get Joe Harris off the floor. Joe Harris off the floor.
Joe Harris is gone. Joe Harris is gone. We got rid of him for cash. So,
get Joe Harris off the floor.
Yeah. So we got rid of him for cash. So if you look at our reserves, and remember, y'all did an episode where y'all did the bench, and the Nets was in the A column in as far as reserves. So the possibles: Ben Simmons, who was coming off an injury, coming back to training camp. DSJ, Lonnie Walker, Day'Ron Sharp. Damn, we got this kid Jalen Wilson out of the draft. I like him. I think I don't know if he's gonna get minutes this year, but I do like him. I do like his energy, man. He's a 3-year kid. Check this out. He's a 3-year kid. He looks like he's polished. He looks like he's ready to be a professional. Who else we got? We got Darius Baisley. Man, yo, we are loaded. In terms of like reserves and pieces that you could throw in, and we got the wingspan. I think this is the team.
Don't leave out Ben Simmons.
I said Ben Simmons too. So I think we have a team like catered to what Coach Jacques Vaughn want to do, because he's really a defensive coach. He comes from that Popovich type of mantra with like, all right, yo, I know what I want to do on defense. Offense seems more self-explanatory, but realistically, I'm looking at this raw, and I really, one of the biggest X factors for our team, Nicholas Claxton. I strongly believe so, because I don't know where his game is going to go offensively, but I know what he brings defensively. Well,
is he an X factor though? Like, we all know who he is as a defender, so it ain't news, right? So that's not like he's a hidden gem.
The X factor is going to be what he becomes offensively. that's what's going to be the X factor. Because
Right.
like if you look at our half court sets, he's going to be running a lot of the dribble handoffs at the top of the key with Mikal because Mikal likes to play off the ball. He likes to play in motion. He's getting a little bit more confident. Going to the basket, around the rim. He's improved his free throw shooting a little bit.
Right.
Little by little, he's working on things in the off season. Seeing some workout videos. He's shooting the ball. Working on conditioning. Working on getting faster. Working on putting the ball on the floor.
Yeah.
Those type of things. So like I kind of seen him, and this might sound crazy. I think his offensive game is going in the direction of Giannis.
Claxton?
Yeah. I honestly believe so. I mean, like that might be. Listen.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Listen, I know it sounds crazy, but
it does sound crazy.
The thing is, he's getting stronger. He's building the muscle in the same definition that Giannis was building in his couple of years, in his first five couple of years in Milwaukee. So if you look at him, it don't look like he could do anything offensively that Giannis can do, but he'll play more off of pick and pop and playing in the dunk box, quick pick and roll, quick dribble handoff, one dribble to the basket, get the easy layup, jump hook in the lane, that type of thing. So he's making himself active out on the court.
All of that is predicated on him handling the basketball, and I haven't seen him handle the basketball. Not even, I haven't seen him handle the basketball in transition. Forget in the half court, just in transition, like taking the ball off the glass and going with it, and him creating offense for other people. Right. So when I think about a poor man's Giannis, you have to at minimum do that. Like if you ain't doing that, then
you know what I said that, but the thing is, a lot of what he's going to be capable of doing in a half court set is more pick and roll. One dribble, a little jump hook, because he's one of the most athletic fives in the league. When I see him, I kind of see what Kai Jones is on Charlotte, because Kai Jones, he's an animal, bro. Like this dude, he could get up, get down the court. I seen him do things in the summer league that was just out of this world. So, but to key it off, man, the Pelicans and the Nets, they're two teams that's I'm like, the Nets obviously underrated, but if I had to go with the Pelicans, my mind is telling me overrated, but I want them to be underrated so bad. But yo, I feel like, do we need Zion to be successful, man? Like,
yes, he's the linchpin. He's the difference in everything that they're doing.
I'm talking about in terms of a style of play, because
he speeds y'all. He speeds them up. Not only does he speed them up, he gives them a paint presence. He gives them a guy who can score the basketball. He gives them a better transition team. Yes, he's the linchpin in everything. He is to them offensively what Claxton is to you guys defensively. Like if Claxton off the floor defensively, forget about it.
So,
if Claxton is on the floor, how much better you guys are defensively with Claxton on the floor?
To add a question to that, but when you seen what happened to the USA the FIBA team this year, my thing is just like a Zion Williamson, bro. Like when you think of the dominant teams that we had the physicality first, right? When you go remember back to that Shaq and the Sean Kemp team in '96, go back to the Kobe team, man, when he knocked Pau Gasol on his ass on that pick. Like we had the intimidation guys, and we had the physical guys. That's one of the reasons why when I got on the show the other day, I brought up Draymond, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you know who we didn't think of? We didn't think of Zion. We didn't think of Zion at all, and I don't know where his head is at, man. Listen, I feel like this is the player that's going to change the trajectory of how American players are drafted, or what American players you're going to look for in the future, because he's going to bring that physicality back if he can stay afloat, if he can stay healthy, because his game works. His game works when he's healthy.
I'm gonna get going, Leaf, but I will tell you this real quickly. I'll take 5-6 years of healthy Zion over 2 years of him being beat up. I'll take if I could get 5 or 6 years of him healthy. The Pelicans are going to be hell.
And you know what? That's how much time I had them lasting at
That's
the
it.
top.
If I could get 5 or 6 seasons of health from him, I'm straight. So, all right, brother.
I'm gonna see you soon, man.
Yeah, out. Yo.
Good evening, Chill. Hear me?
What up? What up?
I'm gonna make it short and simple. Do you still think the Giants are better than us?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not sold on your Cowboys. I'm not. I'm just not.
No.
I'm not sold on your Cowboys. I'm not.
What will sell you, huh? What will sell you?
What would sell me is I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what. What I saw yesterday is I had to ask myself the question on Sunday. Are the Cowboys that good or are the Giants that bad? That offensive line they might have the worst offensive line in the league. Of the teams that I saw, and Dallas's defense, and Dallas's defense, that front four, they look extremely dominant. I don't think they look dominant. They look extremely dominant. So on Sunday, I mean, to beat a team 40-0, I can't deny that they were better on Sunday. Is that going to continue? Like when y'all play them again? When y'all play them again, are we gonna be looking at the same thing? I don't know. But what I saw on Sunday, that's a bad Giants team. That is a bad team.
So
that is a bad team.
Let's say the Giants played flawless. Do you think they could still beat the Cowboys?
If they played flawless?
Flawless, yes.
Just so you know, I think y'all only scored 1 touchdown on your offense.
I believe so.
One.
Yes, we did. No, actually, we had 2. Tony Pollard rushed. Oh, 3 actually. No,
I only counted 1 touch. I think y'all got 9 points from your offense. That was it.
No, we had Tony Pollard 2 rushing touchdowns. And we had Turpin also rushing.
And if I'm not mistaken, Tony Pollard with the rushing touchdown that he got, wasn't that off a turnover in the red zone?
In the red zone, no.
Yeah, because it wasn't like y'all ran all over them.
We did. Look, let me refresh your memory. So
please.
Yes. All right. So our first takeaway, that was the blocked field goal that we returned all the way for.
That was the beginning of the end right there.
Then we had the pick 6 where Trayvon put the hit on Saquon and one of our players took it back.
And the ball popped out. I remember that one. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And then our third takeaway, we had 3 takeaways altogether, was the Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, it was the Trayvon Diggs punch out, but that was like past midfield that I forgot which Giant player it was, but he got like a gain of 20 and Trayvon tracked him down and he knocked it out. Right. So off all 3 turnovers, it wasn't that it led them in good field position for Tony Pollard to score. But anyways, I don't know how you can say the Giants are better than us. That's the only thing that drives me insane.
I'm not saying that they better. I said that on Sunday, y'all were better than them. I want to see it again. Okay. I want you to listen, Sebastian. Until you guys show me what I saw when I was in college, you are the Cowboys. I'm not talking about the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about winning the Super Bowl. Until you show me what you showed me when I was in college, you are the Cowboys. And whatever can go wrong is going to go wrong with this crew.
It's Dak Prescott's the issue.
Dak Prescott he's an above average quarterback at best. He's always been that. I've always felt like that about him, and I still feel like that about him to this day. So I'm not that's a bad Giants team as of right now. Is that going to be the case moving forward? I don't know. But to get blown out at home on opening night 40-0, something got to change.
Do you think the Giants do you think they're a playoff team this year, or I don't think they are?
From what I saw last Sunday, them and Tennessee, I think them and Arizona, I think they're the worst teams in the league. Those 2 teams. From what I just saw this Sunday, the Giants and Arizona, I think they're the worst teams in the league,
including the AFC. Not only the NFC, including the AFC.
The Giants and the Arizona Cardinals, with Tennessee right behind Arizona, I think they're the worst 2 teams in the league.
Worse than Houston.
Worst because Houston is at least going to compete with the rookie quarterback that they have. There's no reason for Tennessee to be as bad as they are. Mm-hmm. Get Ryan Tannehill off my TV. I don't want to see him no more. Get him off my television. And they can't give the ball to Derrick Henry 40 times a game. They can't do that. That's not going to work.
What about did Philly catch your eye by any chance? Did they look a little bit rusty against the Patriots?
I don't know about rusty. I think the Patriots are a lot better than people giving them credit for, and I think they're going to make a lot of noise in the AFC East. So I'm going to be watching for the Giants. But from what I saw on Sunday, that's a bad team, yo. That's a bad team.
All I gotta say is chill. Is we will see you in the NFC Championship game.
Good luck.
We will.
I know we're gonna be there. All right, brother. Good to talk to you. So, all right, yo. It's about that time for me. It's late. Time for me to shake the spot. It was good to see y'all tonight. I will be back soon. We will be talking more about under and overrated teams. Some more football. I will be back soon. But until then, we take it 100%. Get Ryan Tannehill off my TV.